Hey you guys, it's MJ from Alta Love. How are you? So thank you so much for your sending in the messages around my safe passage back to England. There have been some really incredible and beautiful downloads around like a returning home and essentially oftentimes like the journeys that we have to take alone, and certainly on the manifestation path, the hero's journey, whatever we want to call it. It is a really divine blessing to be alive on this planet at this time during this mass awakening and paradigm shift. So I felt really called to do a collective intuition this morning, this in the middle of the night, around the acceleration of the shifts that we're having within us, which is, just going to be really rather intense waves, energy waves of highs and lows, and continuing to permission ourselves and one another to step into these new energies and to remind and reflect back that it's not particularly comfortable. It's not comfortable at all. And this is why we must do our utmost to continue our practice, to continue our meditation, our relaxation, our body work, our physical practice, whatever that might be for you, yoga, tai chi, dance, just intuitive movement and getting into our bodies. It's becoming more clear to me that going over the headspace or staying locked in the mind, in the headspace, and in a sense continually seeking outside of ourselves to find the answers, may not particularly be useful to us at that time, at this time, but rather quiet time, reflection, journaling, staying focused on our personal journey and task and orientation around what we're being asked to manifest. It really is that specificity in our mind and emotional body that allows us to continue to kind of tunnel in on our projections, on what we're here to create. And because there is such a stew of this transformational energy, if we begin to kind of go too far outside of ourselves, it can really feel more chaotic than it needs to, and then destabilize us slightly, throw us off balance a little bit. And so staying committed to the inner work, and again, I'll reflect back to us that inner work is our own responsibility to be present with the energies that we are in the moment and to work through them, to see the past projection, to see the past pain, to see the trauma, to feel the trauma within us in the light of our awareness, and to choose something differently, to choose an abundant feeling and thought, right? And so and that's why we meditate, that's why we relax, that's why we do all of these personal love rituals, which I talk about in the Fearless Life Guide, of a sort of ritual and ceremony around the absolute priority of our self-care, self-nurture, self-love, and self-responsibility and accountability for the presence that we are and how we're paying attention to the thoughts and the feelings that we're having in any given moment. Each and every one of us has a very unique purpose and responsibility in this whole paradigm shift, and those resonating here are certainly, I would say, like at the leading edge of pioneering new worlds, of being leaders in your community, being people who naturally hold space and who naturally lead in as far as, leading with compassion, leading with love. And part of the accelerated shifting belt right now is that we're actually in a potent time of benevolence, of good grace, of luck, and it has to do with the planetary alignments leading up to the 2020 astrology, when things will become really crystal clear for us, right? And and then if anything, by 2020 it will just feel more stable, in as such as everything that we've been projecting and intending to create for months or years, that we're going to be able to feel more steady in that new beingness, right? It's like that's all the work we've been doing is now anchoring into that way of being. And what's happening now with the accelerated shifting that we're all helping one another do is bottoming out our base tones. So really truly this rebirthing process, more and more of us are beginning to feel like our past few cycles are like past lives, right? And I'm hearing something about to remember this idea of timelines and or multidimensionality, past life, future projection. In any given moment, it is in the here now. So again, that's something that's been coming through for me with the acceleration in clearing the residue of past cycles is, and as I step into these new energies and these very obvious, and on the physical manifestation level, very obvious new beginnings, is to discipline our mind. So for some of us, we will have transformed certain base tone patterns, whether in our body, in our life, what have you. And so as we start to work on the different areas of our lives to continue to stay really present and anchored in the thought projection and in how we're feeling about it, because we've been doing the emotional body work, we're essentially, we won't be bottoming out in the same way, but the triggers will often feel the same and or just as intense. So it's really important for us to remember to ground into that and be present with that as a self-responsible creator, and to choose, what are you creating? How much money are you making? What kind of life do you live? And then what kind of things are you here to create for the here now, and i.e. the future, right? Because this energy work we've been doing is a kind of, again, it's mass awakening, global paradigm shift. It's a quantum leap in human evolution. So and you can imagine a quantum leap. It means that we're not taking with us the base tones of, what people call the 3D paradigm or old paradigm, as far as densities of vibrational frequency that humanity's been carrying for ages, cycles upon cycles upon cycles. And different channels talk about this in 26,000 years, 13,000 years, 2,000 years. And that is ultimately, we're now living in this sort of culmination point as the Earth moves into this kind of central point in the solar system of divine regenesis, so that the beings from all different places of this infinite universe have gravitated here for this great awakening and this divine experience, which is just the Earth's gravitational pull in the solar system. It's part of Earth herself and the divine being that she is, and the cycles that she goes through. Those of us who've been coexisting here and co-creating here have been through these depths of darkness through the ages, and are ultimately here for the expanse of this rising. I'm hearing into a Christed state without the grandiosity, and more I am getting that there is simplicity in manifestation, which is why more beings rising into their divine purpose are shining light on distortion in said spiritual communities, or having to face down certain, I guess, malalignment in word and frequency, and that shining light again is helping everybody to be more responsible, to transform certain densities, because we have to remain rather detached around the energies that we're feeling, because a lot of it is ancestral karma. It's not personal to do with you, that person in this lifetime. It's to do with the cells of the beings that the cells of your beingness that you've sort of contracted yourself to carry, in as far as how we connect the new paradigm energies, the new paradigm. I often think of grid, but it's not a grid in the way that we might attach the idea of grid from old paradigm perspective. This is a much more fluid reality where, light filled. If you think of light versus matter and like the solidity of matter from that limited perspective, or from just that, you know, separation consciousness, and the density is like, this is real and everything invisible is unreal. Now those two worlds are sort of merging together, so that the totality of our projection and our beingness here becomes this fluid, choice-based, which is the Christ, choice-based projected field. And so in any given moment, it's like, bring it back, bring it back to the heart, bring it back to that feeling presence state, so that you have more mastery over the thoughts that you're thinking. Because again, from that lower bass tone, we are running a lot more of the unconscious patterns, because we've not owned our field yet. We've not owned the totality of our field yet. So as more and more beings, through their darkness and through their suffering, endeavor to own their field, more and more and more beings are going to be living and vibrating that new energy on Earth, which that is one and the same as the whole collective making the shift, making the leap. And it's that polarity and or paradox, is that it is done. There's nothing that you need to do, and it's remembering that it's that remaining in that fluidity presence point that is the way, and always choosing is the way. There's no like, I have to do this and I have to do that. There's only the present moment, what you're guided in, and that's the forgiveness piece around the pains and the karma, as it were, whatever we might be carrying. It's that we are all in this together, and there are no mistakes in as such on a soul level. There never are mistakes on this journey. There's the experience which is helping us to evolve. That is all. And life itself. I remember one of you posting something about that. It's just life. Life is the reward. Life is the gift. Life is the experience. Life is life, which is very relevant and true to this, benevolent, co-creative exchange as we come into our greater knowing as eternal and infinite beings. So I think that's all I need to share for today. I will endeavor to do another one of the monthly zodiacs, and then our tarot readings, and lots of new realities, I could say. And I also want to extend just a lot of love and gratitude for those of you supporting the channel, for those of you supporting yourself on the journey, and to encourage you guys to support All to Love, myself, Team Love, by coming on a retreat with me and Katie, by buying some All to Love merch. It's all sustainable, it's collaborative, and of course to book perspective calls, intuitive readings if you feel the need to have a chat or to discuss anything that you're going through. I've actually now chosen to dissolve the packages. It doesn't feel in alignment with where I am anymore, and rather like just ad hoc. I'm finding a lot of people I'm working with at this point are shifting quite quickly, so it is often one call might be all you need. And if there is a really serious budget that you're on, I would encourage you to book a perspective call, which is a half an hour call, and I will sit with you for as long as we need to sit. Otherwise, if you're plush in the money vibrashe, then go ahead and book a full hour's call, and we'll have a noodle. We'll work through stuff. We'll talk through stuff. And of course, the tarot readings are usually, unless you book a live Skype time, which is where I'm doing the professional encounters now, so on Skype. Otherwise, the intuitive readings I record privately, and then I share them with you in your inbox. And you can do 10-minute, 20-minute, 30-minute, and 40-minute bookings now. And I've added just like a tiny fraction on the price, just to have more, divine numerology and stuff for this community, because it feels in resonance ultimately. So yeah, thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate it. I can feel these accelerated shifts happening. Just wow, like, oh my goodness, what is life? And that is something I'm definitely viscerally feeling, is like just this like it's a little bit surreal and at the same time amazing, like truly blissful and ecstatic, and a lot of information coming through that I'll continue to integrate myself, discern, and share as and when I'm guided to share, like now. So it's becoming more honed and more specific. These collective intuitions will continue. I'm noodling with continuing having the odd live share, but it's not quite there for me yet. And yeah, the tarot readings are an absolute joy for me, and people are finding me via the tarot, and receiving quite a lot of divine love and guidance through those readings. So yeah, feel free to book if you're called to do so. Otherwise, I welcome your donations to support the free content here on All to Love TV and All to Love Instagram. And I would absolutely love, if any of you guys are feeling the pull, the call to come to Morocco with me and Katie, I would so love to meet you guys there. It's definitely going to be like a profound transformational experience for those who have already booked. And again, if you guys are really struggling financially, please feel free to just reach out, and we can have a chat. Katie and I have agreed on like a baseline, like we just can't go below a certain price point. But if you desperately want to come and you can't afford the £699, then yeah, just reach out and have a chat and we can see what we can do. Have a great day, you guys. Mega, mega love for you. Virtual hugs. Virtual hugs. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace out. Take care.